So Thread really is about finding a way to tip Baltimore City. If you think about our city and what has happened throughout the civil rights movement, there was a huge effort to bring about a more diverse, inclusive, and equitable city here in Baltimore. And the challenge is that a lot of those efforts focused on the logos of the movement. And so there was legislation passed, our schools became integrated. The challenge is that even though our schools became integrated, they're actually more segregated now than ever before. They're segregated both by race, but also by class, because what you had was middle class flight out of the city, along with middle class black flight out of the city. So we now have a school system in Baltimore. If you take Dunbar High School, where Thread is, it's one of our 3 schools, you have a majority African American student body and a majority of the student body on free and reduced lunch. And so for us, the fundamental question is, how do you actually bring people together across lines of race and class to truly get to know one another, so that people will make choices to send their kids to school together, people will make choices to live in neighborhoods together, that we want to influence the decision making of how people are living their lives. And we think the best way to do that is to form meaningful relationships that transcend these lines. So the way we mobilize a couple thousand people is we focus everyone in on a common goal, one that we think is palatable to just about anyone, which is young people. So we enroll the most academically underperforming high school freshmen. To give you a sense of what I mean, the average GPA of our first cohort at Douglas High School, which was the school at the epicenter of the unrest, was 0.15. So not 1.5, but 0.15 on a 4.0 scale. Our students are exemplary individuals, but they are facing extraordinary challenges outside of school, from homelessness to having a parent who's deceased or incarcerated. So once they're enrolled in Thread, they stay with us for a decade. So we joke it's longer than the average American marriage. And once they're in, you can think of it like a gang or a sorority. They cannot get out. So once we're family, we're family. And so that common goal of rallying around the most academically underperforming students who have tremendous potential but haven't fully reached that potential, is something that allows us to mobilize people. And then within that model, everyone has a clear role. So each student is given up to 5 volunteers, and those 5 volunteers do everything from pack their lunch, give them a ride to school, provide tutoring, help them keep the electricity on in their home. Anything you could envision doing for your own child is basically what we do for our children. And so, the roles that people play in the Thread family differ. You might have one volunteer of the 5 who picks a student up for school, and another volunteer who does after-school tutoring, and another volunteer who works with their parent to help them get their GED or find a job or enroll in college. So everyone's role is different, but it's clearly defined. And then the other 2 things that complement having the clear role and clear goal is that we create a sense of urgency. So many of the things that our students are experiencing can't wait. When someone's hungry, that can't wait. When they don't have clean clothes to go to school, that can't wait. And so that sense of urgency, combined with the fact that we measure success in real time, those 4 things, goal, role, urgency, and a way to measure success in real time, that's how we mobilize everyone. And in doing so, without even really thinking about it, as you're mobilizing people to act together towards this common goal, you end up creating these relationships, and those relationships transcend these lines of race and class. And so as people get to know one another, it influences their behavior in both conscious and subconscious ways.